I don't really like being on camera, so this is a little weird for me. But I decided to record a journey I'm about to go on. In the past, I put all my effort into the work of the project, and I haven't spent time getting my work out there and sharing it with everybody. I decided I better start sharing something. So, what is this project? I'm gonna make a movie, but more on that in a bit. Let me catch you up on where I've been the last decade. So, I've wanted to make movies forever. My first specific memory of wanting to get into filmmaking was after watching Die Hard when I was maybe 12. I realized I wanted to be Bruce Willis because he made Die Hard. A few years later, I realized it's really the director and the writers who make the movies. So when I was 15, I decided I want to be a director. Not long after that, I started smoking marijuana and other things, and the movies in my head exploded into life in psychedelic colors. I spent 5 years or so experimenting with drugs, everything from marijuana to LSD, and I even was addicted to Oxycontin for about a year. I've shared a lot of that with a lot of you guys, so I'm not going to dive too deeply into that. But the world of drugs for me has always been fraught with potential for a great film. There's obviously plenty of danger and suspense, but there's also some pretty incredible things, and I think for somebody at that age, it can lead to a great coming of age story, a great finding yourself and what's in there, and exploring those heady ideas of, your reality versus the reality you live in, how other people see you and how you see yourself, and how that can get twisted and also expanded. So those have always been some of the things that I've wanted to put into a movie, along with some of the amazing things that I've seen, but are really tough to put into words for people, it's a tough perspective to share with somebody else if they haven't experienced it. And I've always had this dream of showing other people what it's like so they don't have to do that. I think a lot of people wonder, a lot of people ask me, and I'd love to share with you the ups and downs. So that kind of sets up the movie, but why do I want to make it now? Well, the last 10 years I've spent on other people's sets and my own. I've written scripts for short films and commercials. I've done storyboards for multiple feature films, many commercials. I've directed, been in the art department. I was the worst script supervisor in the history of the job. And I've spent the last 3 years shooting and directing all of my own stuff. For those of you who haven't been watching with bated breath for all of my work to come out, here's a quick reel of some of what I've done in the last few years.
When my love takes me home, it's 105 to 30 miles zone.
Doing all that, I've collected a lot of different skills, and I've had a lot of different ideas, and I've really learned what works for me, what I want to see in my film. And so I think it's time to make it, finally. This is my 8th or 9th feature-length script that I'll be writing, and this is the 3rd or 4th full different version of this psychedelic coming-of-age story. It's changed a lot over the last 8 or 9 years is when I started writing it. And I've written a lot of different scripts since. I didn't know sometimes if this was going to be my first movie. First you start by thinking, well, I'll make a $2 million movie. I'll write a really good script and get a lot of people attached. And then you watch other people work and you see some good indie films, and you realize also that movies do cost a lot of money, and this is your first, and you want to do it well, and you don't want it to be a $2 million risk on somebody else's dime. This is also maybe my best last chance to make a feature film, for a while anyway. And the reason for that I can leave for another time, but it'll become clear down the road. So, what is this movie? In a nutshell, it's a psychedelic version of Jobs and Wozniak creating Apple in their garage. The story's about two best friends, one a brilliant biochemistry student and his tag-along best friend, who create the perfect drug in their garage. But one of the side effects forces them to make a mortal decision. The film deals with questions that I've always had about these drugs and kind of deals with both the epiphanies and the marvelous parts of drugs, but also the dangerous side of drugs. It explores questions of what are drugs and why do humans take them? What are we trying to get out of them? Where are we trying to go? And do the realities that we see on drugs have any relevance to our everyday lives, or is it just pointless? And so that's the movie I want to make. And I think I finally got a story that I can do, not for $2 million, not for $500,000. I'm going to make this movie for $50,000. And I'm going to do it this summer. I want to share my journey with you. You'll see me write a script, draw storyboards, go out and try and fundraise for this thing. I need to raise $50,000 and it's not going to be easy. I'm going to be finding cast and crew, talking to some of the most talented people that I know, shooting, editing this thing, and then we need to go out to film festivals. And my goal is to record as much of this as possible and put it out there so that you can be along for the journey. Whether you're just watching this excited to see how this movie turns out, or you want to get involved, I want to share this with you. So I don't know how long vlogs are usually supposed to be. I don't watch that many of them, if any, and I'm a little nervous about making this one. We'll see if I actually follow through, but if you see one next week, then you'll know it's still happening. Follow along, I guess follow and like, I don't know, click a box if I get one up there, and subscribe. All right, catch you in the script.